If you fall, I'll fall with you, baby, cause
Alright, a speedy welcome to you this morning on the show. It's Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and it is time for the Speed Lane. My name is Clement Sampson, and I'm in the studio with
Marysyntia.
Good morning to you, Marysyntia. And how are you doing this morning?
I'm fine. How about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good as well too. We're still alive and we're kicking. Thank God for that. Okay, well, you on the other side, we're hoping that you too, you're pretty fine as well too. You woke up feeling all lively, all strong. You had a great night rest in point of fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're thankful to God for that. Okay, well, so this morning we'll be talking about something which we feel might pique your interest, okay, to a certain level. And this morning it's all about borrowing from a partner. Yes, borrowing from a partner. Now, how do you see it? Like, is it a sign of weakness or is it a level of trust? Okay, how do you see borrowing from a partner, whether it's a sign of weakness or it's a level of trust, a sign of trust from you? Okay, Marysyntia, so I think it's fair enough for us to start with ourselves here in the studio here, right? So I need to ask you this question, okay? How do you see borrowing from a partner? Now tell me, do you interpret it as irresponsibility or is it weakness? Now, some people do see it, okay, as a sign of irresponsibility or weakness. Now, tell me if you agree to that.
Okay, so just to be clear, we are talking about your partner, like married partner here, not business partner, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, your married partner.
Okay,
correct, yeah.
And we are also saying, is it money or is it everything in general?
It is money.
Okay.
Precisely money.
All right. So, borrowing money from your partner, to me, I wouldn't consider that as a sign of weakness.
Okay.
I won't consider that as a sign of weakness because at the end of the day, you married that person, like you said, your partner. You people are supposed to go through everything together. So if your partner is down at some point and decides, okay, if you could actually borrow them, I don't see it as a sign of weakness at all. You yourself that is borrowing the money, there's no need to start feeling like that is a weakness or you feel less of yourself, especially the men, because I find that it's mostly men who start feeling, okay, if I borrow from my wife, I'll be I'm feeling is inferior to her, okay, and all of that stuff. But it's actually not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you actually trust your wife, okay, and you know that your wife would always be there for you. Or even as a wife that is borrowing from husband, you know that your husband will actually always be there for you. You don't have to start running around just to borrow money or stuff like that. In some cases, some people want to defend and say, as partners, you're not even supposed to be borrowing money, or it's just given. But no, even as partners, we have different things that we want to do. Like, if your wife has a personal thing that she wants to achieve, like, that's not the family's, how would I put it, that's not the family's table, that's her personal stuff. So it's more like she's borrowing that money from you. If you want to let it go and not collect it back, that's fine. But then it's not necessarily a sign of weakness, except it becomes, there's still except in this, except it becomes too much. Like, where you're not even trying to, let's say, do anything about the fact that you are always in need as a partner. You're just there, you're not even looking for what to do for yourself, and then stuff like that's when it becomes unacceptable for me.
Okay, all right. So for like, which one seems easier, which one seems more permissible for a man to borrow from his spouse, like, or a woman, borrowing from her husband? Which one seems more palatable, easy to understand?
I think it's the woman borrowing from her husband.
Okay.
That's easier because, men, and I think men have these ego issues and all of that always gets in the way. They feel like they don't want to. Some men feel like borrowing from your partner is actually stooping low, or stuff like that. So I think it's harder on the side of the men, and then easier for the women to actually borrow. Sometimes you see women even say, I want to borrow money from you. That's from their husband. And then at the end of the day, it's not even borrow because they are not planning to give back. So like, but the men for what I've seen so far, women, if you owe their money and you don't pay back, there's nothing like passing that money. You have to pay back, and they will remind you in 2100. They'll remind you for the money million years to come. They're still reminding you of that money. I've even seen some people say things like, okay, if my husband was owing me money and then he gave me money that's more than that money, he just dashed me, but then you still ask them for that specific amount that they were owing you, because the dash is not part of it. So it's definitely more difficult on the side of men than it is for women.
All right then. So that's Marysyntia talking about how she sees borrowing money, from one's partner. Now you two can also be part of the conversation, and the number for you to call to be part of this conversation right now is 090-3648-5868. Excuse me. Now the phone line is officially open so that you two can also call and share your thoughts on what we're talking about here. So I call the number again, 090-3648-5868. And what we're looking at here right now is borrowing money from your partner a sign of trust or weakness? How do you say it? So we've gathered from Marysyntia that it's easier for females. I think we do have a caller here.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning to you, and thank you for dropping by.
I am Shida from Coca-Cola.
Okay, Shida from Coca-Cola, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so go ahead and tell me what you think about this.
Borrowing from my husband or from partner, I think it's not bad, but me, I prefer my husband to borrow from me because he normally pay double. Even when he paid, I will still tell him that you haven't paid. Remember the money I borrowed you now. He will say I've paid. I say for where? He never pay. And when he borrowed from me, I will still be telling him, remember you borrowed money that day and you promised to add Jara. Where is the Jara?
Okay.
He will still add the Jara again. But when he comes to me, I will borrow from him. He say pay now. Say I paid now. The first children, the first baby. This is the money I borrowed from you. I paid. So normally I enjoy borrowing my husband money. I enjoyed it very well. Nothing bad.
Okay then. All right. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Shida.
All right.
Good.
Now you see exactly what I said. It's always easier on the side of the women because, women just have their way with some of these things, especially regarding their partner. Like she said, when he's about to pay back, she asked him to double
interest.
it. Yes, there's interest, or even double it, triple itself. And while that person, you borrowed your husband that money, he might still even be giving you different. Give me this amount of money like that. Those small might even pass the initial amount of money that he was owing you, but like you will not talk about that one. It's just that specific amount that he collected that would be on your mind.
Now, Mary, from how you just sounded now, from based on what you just said and how you sounded about it, I can read you. Okay, what our last caller talking about Miss Shida, what she just said is something you totally agree with, and in fact you will even exploit it.
Well, I think I'll even do more than that. Like if I married and I was borrowing from my husband, you borrow with interest. I mean, it will not be like it will be a joke, or it will not be something serious, but inside that joke there'll be a bit of seriousness that'll make him to actually pay with that interest. So really? Like it will not be like I'm choking him, or like he has to, but he doesn't have to. So like that.
Okay then. All right, so we're still sampling more calls, and the number for you to call and tell us your take on whether borrowing money from your partner is a sign of trust or weakness. The number for you to call is 09036485868. That's the number for you to call and tell us what you think about borrowing money from your partner, whether it's a sign of trust or weakness. Doesn't matter whether you are male or female. It happens both ways. Okay. Now let's talk about let's gather from you now, Mary. Okay.
Okay.
Now, borrowing money from your partner now, do you think it would strengthen the couple's bond? Okay, because relationship experts would tell you that allowing a level of vulnerability, yes, in your relationship is good. Okay, that it's good to show vulnerability, yes, to a certain extent. Okay, so how do you see this in this situation of borrowing from your partner now? Is it do you think it's something that could strengthen the couple's bond?
I definitely think it would strengthen the couple's bond, because if you borrow from your partner, it's more because you feel, okay, this person is my person. They are not going to judge me. They are not going to say, okay, how could you not have this amount of money? How could you say, and what do you even want to use it for? There's this, sometimes you get judged when you are borrowing from outside that, especially when you are in a marriage or a relationship. People just expect you to have your life figured out. Like, how are you living there to come and borrow? Or they just think, okay, these people, their own is so bad and all of that stuff. So I think it kind of strengthens the bond to some extent, because your partner is trusting you, is trusting that you're not judging them, and you on the other hand is feeling, okay, I am being supportive to my partner. That feeling of, okay, you are actually needed, you're actually doing something, you're not just there, you could actually show up when your partner needed something. It kind of draws both of you closer.
Okay. Now, I noticed that while you were talking about whether it strengthens bond, you said to an extent. Yes, you said to an extent. So, which means you have reservations. It will get to a point when you will no longer be comfortable with it. So, at what point now does borrowing money cross the line into financial dependence? Okay,
I think constant borrowing from your partner could make your partner lose respect for you. I mean, let's use example from the side of the man. If you keep borrowing from your wife, and every time you're always asking her, okay, I need this amount of money, I need, and stuff like that, she kind of start feeling, I don't know, there's this natural human thing where when someone is that dependent on you, I don't think they even notice when it happens, but they kind of start feeling proud, even if not proud. There's something called see finish, and then they start losing respect for you, because how can't you take care of even minor things? You are always coming to me, you always come to borrow, and then stuff like that. So if I wasn't here, are you not man enough? And then even in the women's cases, others, how are you always borrowing to do this? Especially women that actually work. If you're working, then you're always borrowing. What is that work you're doing? Like, is the work even worth it? So your partner starts losing respect for you, thinking that, okay, you're less of a man or a woman because you cannot actually provide that amount of money for yourself. So that's to the extent I'm saying, okay, it might not actually strengthen the bond. Then it might actually be making you to drift apart.
Okay. Okay, so it's still the speed lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and this is an open conversation, so which means you two can also be a part of what we're talking about here. Okay, and the number for you to call is 090-3648-5868. In case I was too fast calling that number again, it is 090-3648-5868. And what we're checking out this morning is whether borrowing money from your partner, okay, is a sign of trust or weakness. So it goes both ways, whether you're male, whether you're female, it doesn't matter. Your opinion will still count on this one. Okay, so, and then also I do think that like where I would expect that this person has started crossing the line, okay, is like and I suspect you might agree with me, is when this person borrows, okay, and then never pays back. Does like the person is taking advantage of the relationship, okay, feeling like now we now you say calm down, like if I get tomorrow, I know still give you like actually I must pay back this one, that kind of thing. Okay, the thing is, somebody said this, like, you should be a person of your word. So the thing is, you came to your partner and you said borrow. You didn't say give me. Yes. So then the fact that you came and you said borrow me, now that makes you that sets the trajectory for that.
True.
Yes. So you should stick to your word. So if you don't want to be indebted, then come straight and tell your partner that just give me. Then the partner understands.
Okay.
And not hold you by the belt buckle tomorrow. And okay, well, so it's the speed lane. We're still checking whether borrowing money from your partner is a sign of trust or weakness. And you can call 090-3648-58. That's the number you can call for you to be a part of what we're talking about here, right here in the studio between myself, Clement Sampson, and Marysyntia. Okay, so we do have a caller here. Yes, good morning to you. Hello, we can hear you. Good morning to you. Oops, and that did not go pretty well. Okay, well, so you can still call us back. Okay, don't worry, it's still going to hold. 090-3648-5868. All right, okay. And then also, it's quite important for me to state, okay, while we're still talking here right now, that when you call, you have to adhere to these very simple rules, okay? And it's just a simple one rule: tune down the volume on your radio before you call us, okay? And in fact, just even turn it off if you can do that. So it's the speed lane, and we're still continuing on. Is borrowing money from a partner a sign of trust or weakness? Now, some people have said it's a sign of financial irresponsibility or weakness. Okay. Now, I also asked Marysyntia which one seems more permissible. Okay, which one can be allowed to just pass? Now, Marysyntia, let me ask you: if someone repeatedly, okay, borrows money in a relationship, what does it say about the long-term health of that relationship?
Well, if you ask me that, I'll say it feels like the person will be too dependent on you. I know that we as human beings at some point want our partner to be dependent on us, at least for some things. But when it gets too much and you start feeling, okay, in the long run this person is always going to be dependent on me if I'm not there, and a whole lot of stuff like that, it kind of weakens their spirit. And like I mentioned, drifting apart, when you just start noticing some kind of things with your partner, as a human being, for real, I don't even judge people for that. As a human being, you just start pulling back without even noticing. So like in the long run, it's going to put that fright in your partner that, okay, this person is always going to be dependent even for the small things. How could he not take care of something like this? What if I'm not here? Can he actually take care of my home? Can she actually take care of my home, or anything like that? Or would she, if she's always needing my own help with all the borrow and stuff, if I need help one day, will she actually be able to like turn up and help when she's always the one in need? Or he, it doesn't matter whether it's a male or a female, whether it's the man or the woman, like, will that person also be able to turn up when I need something? This one, they are always in need, because you cannot predict what will happen to you in the future. You don't know if you would be the one needing later. Okay. But if someone is always needing to borrow, that kind of sparks something like, will they continue needing? Will they ever have, if I was ever in that situation, will they have to give me? Can they actually help me out of that? So in the long run, it's going to make that your partner to start pulling back and down, feeling like, okay, I don't want that amount of dependence on me. The pressure is going to be too much, obviously.
Okay. Still the speed lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. Okay, we're still doing this. We're checking from you whether borrowing money specifically from your partner is a sign of weakness or it's a sign of trust. And you can feel free to call 090 3648 5868. Marysyntia, have you been in a situation where you because I would expect that you must have had a partner at some point, right? Good. So have you ever borrowed from him? tell us your life story. Okay, hold on, we have a call.
Hello?
Yes, hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Very good. You're welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Mr. Victor. I'm calling from Makodi.
Okay. Where precisely in Makodi, Mr. Victor?
High level.
Okay.
Precisely.
All right. Mr. Victor from High Level. Go ahead. So borrowing money from your partner, is it a sign of trust or weakness? How do you see it?
For me, if there's love, there's nothing like trust or weakness.
Okay.
Because love lies on nothing, either trust or anything. But that's why it's advisable that when you want to go into anything with your partner, you have to check the weakness of your partner to know the strength at which you can go with. In the sense that your partner, you know whether this person, this is what this person can afford. This is what this person can go for, and not going into a relationship that this person is an idol. I don't know that you understand. This person is idol. He's not doing anything. You venture into the relationship, my dear, you are carrying liability on yourself.
Oh, really?
So for me, it's not a weakness or anything, but based on the love you have for the person, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Thank you, Mr. Victor from High Level. So Mr. Victor from High Level said it's none of both. It's none of both, but it's just everything is just dependent on love and understanding. Okay, so Mr. Victor is very much entitled to his opinion, and So that means the buck doesn't stop with him.
Mm-hmm.
You two can also call and tell us what you think, how you feel about borrowing money from your partner, whether it's a sign of trust or a sign of weakness. 090 3648 5868 is the number for you to call and state your opinion. Okay, but also, Marysyntia, back to you. We want you to give us your personal life story. So, have you ever borrowed from your partner, and then how did it go?
I would not give a direct story of something that has happened to me,
Okay.
but I would say this is how it would go. I would definitely borrow from my partner. I would borrow from them. I mean, who am I supposed to trust? I know someone mentioned that, okay, it's none of trust and all of that, but who am I supposed to trust more than that person? Okay, if I get married and I'm there with my partner, who am I trusting outside, like, to borrow more than him? It's more like looking at what situation they are in. Timing is also very important, because if you're looking at when your partner is struggling financially, and then it's that moment you're trying to borrow from them, people like me, that there's a touch of pride in. If I ask you that time and you don't give me, it's more like I won't be coming back.
Okay.
I don't know. There's this how you feel about asking someone something, and then the whole embarrassment. It doesn't matter to me, even if it's my partner, the embarrassment will still be there that he didn't actually give. So, like, I would not be coming back in the future. In fact, he would have to actually persuade me to tell him, okay, you can borrow me like this and all of that. So in the future, with a partner, I would definitely be borrowing from them. And if it goes well, like he actually gives to me, I would not play. I will actually bring it back. But as ladies, there's one power. Should I call it a power or a strength, where you kind of turn things around to then be in your favor, and then make him to actually not collect it. But me, I take those kind of things seriously. I will actually take it to him, maybe just persuade him about, will you still collect this money and stuff like that, instead of then just not taking it to him and then stuff like that. Also, if he doesn't give me, like I said, the embarrassment, I think it will not make me. It will make me to not come back again, because if I actually asked you for money, then I studied the whole situation, how it was with you, were you struggling and all of that before I actually went to you. So for me, that's how it will be. If he goes well, he actually gives, that will be my result. If he doesn't, that will still be my result.
Okay, so okay, well, let's just leave it at that. It's still the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. Just a friendly reminder of what the time says right now. We're 3 minutes past 9:30. Well, in essence, I'm saying it's 9:33 a.m. so far. So it's 27 minutes to 10 o'clock so far. That's for those of you who don't have a wristwatch on your wrist to check what the time is. Neither do you have a wall clock in your room or at your place of business or your office to know what the time is. That's what it says right now. And 090-3648-5868 is the number for you to call and tell us what you think about borrowing money from your partner, whether it's a sign of trust or a sign of weakness. Call and tell us what you think about that. Now, in the case, let's flip it around now. It's not you who borrowed from him; it's him who borrows from you, and then he doesn't pay. He doesn't pay off. Well, the time comes for him to pay based on what he promised, based on when he said he will be paying the money, and then he doesn't. And then let's say he said he was going to pay you back in a month's time. That time comes, it passes by. Second month goes by. Wow, the third month comes and goes, and the whole time you've been quiet about it. You didn't say anything. How will that affect your perception of that your partner? How will that affect how you see that your partner?
The first thing I will say is someone who I'm with should be able to know how I am. I don't know how to explain that really, but they should be able to know my kind of person.
Okay.
Because for me, I would not forget that. Oh, you know how it will just pass, and I would not forget that. It's going to be there in my mind, but I'm not going to say anything about it.
So hold that thought. We have a caller here.
Hello?
Yes, hello, good morning to you and welcome to the Speed Lane. What's your name and where are you calling from, sir?
My name is Clement. I'm calling from High Level, Makodi.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't get the name.
The name is Clement.
Okay, Kelman from High
No.
Level.
Yes.
All right, Kelman, go ahead and tell us what you think about this.
Well, it's a very interesting subject. When you have a partner, it's supposed to be a bond that is attached to both of you. And most people kind of misinterpret. Your partner is supposed to be somebody like you. Borrowing from your partner should not be a kind of disgrace. Listening to somebody say, I will not go back there. How will you not go back there when you people are committed to be one? So it's just a shared kind of mere understanding of you people trying to agree, understanding your terms of relationship. I heard one of the caller was saying that before you get married to, you should have understood yourselves before coming together. So all is based on understanding and how your relationship is built on. Relationships are built on trust, understanding. So I expect that borrowing should should be meant on trust. If your partner is weak, you support. If your partner is strong, you support. But where it becomes a regular thing, you people can sit and advise each other. So that's my take for what you people are saying.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you, Mr. Kelman, for your take.
Yeah,
on
thank
that.
you too.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Okay, so that was Mr. Kelman. Okay, so that was his opinion as well too. He feels like before people even get into any form of relationship, they should understand each other pretty well and gauge each other, gauge their level of tolerance when it comes to things like that. That it's best if your partner understands with you and gives you support every time at all, understanding with you all along. So as far as he sees it, it's more aligned towards trust, not weakness. Okay, so we're still taking more calls, and you two can also be like our previous callers whom we've just heard from, and you can also call at 090-3648-5868. That's the number for you to call. Okay, so Marysyntia, you were talking about whether you were trying to tell us how you would see your partner.
Yes.
If he borrowed from you and didn't pay back when he said he was going to.
Okay, I was saying I don't forget things like that. So I'm sure the partner that I would be with should be able to understand that I don't take things like that lightly. I will always remember it. So like while you're feeling okay, it's my wife and nothing will happen and all of that, you should know that I'm expecting that money from you. I would not come out openly and say it that okay, you are owing me or give me. I'll be the one encourage you. If you actually say I know I was owing you, that's when my mind will soften. Then I'll be the one to say no, that one I don't take any issue, no problem, it's just me now. You can still pay back when you have it and all of that. But you see that keeping quiet, that's what I hate. I might not tell you, or I might even, in fact, the day you mentioned it, I'll say, oh, I even forgot. Meanwhile, every day that thing was even on my mind, because I'll not want you to feel bad. But then I never forget things like that. So I'll definitely pick offense, and then maybe one time I'll just use it as a joke to just tell him, remember that time now you had my money, I did not even give me back. Now you said I should give it. I'm not giving. No, just use it as a joke. And again, then his response is what determines if I would be giving him again. That's if he needs it again. If I'll be borrowing him that money or not. How he will respond to the one I said, okay, that last time you borrowed and you not give me back. That's what will determine if I'd actually be borrowing him anything again.
Okay.
But I don't forget to at all. I will not forget without without explanation. It will always be there, like always. He might even say, I was owing you, and I'll be like, I forgot about it, sef, but I did not for 1 second forget. That's just the truth.
Okay. All right. So we now, me for one, I have seen instance of somebody in a relationship taking advantage of the other one, having more. And funny enough, or strangely enough, it was like it was the man in the relationship taking advantage of his partner who had more than he had. Okay, so it's something that it's a situation that if one is not careful, it can be exploited.
True.
It can be exploited, not necessarily because one person wants to be weak, but it's just mostly because somebody just feels like he should be taking advantage of the other person who feels trust in the relationship. You understand? For you to be able to lend money to your partner, it means you trust the partner. Now, unfortunately, situations arise when that partner, instead of upholding that trust, ends up abusing that trust by taking advantage, seeing it as a sign of weakness on the part of the partner who borrowed, who borrowed them the money. Okay, well, we're still taking more of your calls on the speed lane this morning on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM 090-3648-5868. That's the number for you to call and share your thoughts on what you think about borrowing money from your partner, whether it's a sign of weakness or whether it's a sign of trust. Okay, that's what we're talking about this morning, and you two can also be a part of it. Now, let's talk about real life situations here, Marysyntia.
Okay.
Now, I want to know if you have seen a situation where a partner borrowed from another one and did not remit the money at the agreed time, and that's made their relationship like hit some had issues. Have you ever seen that kind of thing happen before?
That would be hard to tell because when it comes to things like that, people are always private with it. And for me, who is like a lady, the friends I will have will be mostly ladies. I mean, some other ladies could have more guy friends, but for me, I have mostly female friends.
Okay.
So like when it comes to things like that, they try to hide it. This can let someone not know that, okay, I'm actually borrowing my partner money, or my partner is like this. Even yourself will not want your friends to lose respect for your man. So like you will not want to say it out there and stuff like that. But on a general note, I think it actually affects the relationship, because even if that lady or the man is the dumbest in the world, if you notice that your partner has this habit of not returning the money he or she borrowed from you, at some point you're going to start feeling this is what this man likes to do, this is what this woman likes to do, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And from small things, maybe even the day that he said he was going to pay back, he doesn't pay back, it affects your mood. You start acting somehow, and then every little thing turns into an argument, and from there, now the whole drifting apart. And some of these things, if not corrected on time, it just makes the whole relationship to go, and you cannot even point out to where it started from. Again, you cannot even say it was when I borrowed and I did not pay her back or anything like that. So it definitely affects the relationship if the partner is not keeping to his or her word of paying the money back when they are supposed to pay.
Okay. All right. Well said. Thank you so much for that. And 090-3648-5868 is the number for you to call into the program, and it's all about whether borrowing money from your partner is a sign of trust or a sign of weakness. We've spoken at length about this so far, and some of our callers have weighed in as well too about what they think about this topic. Okay, you two should not sit on the sidelines. Tell us what you think. And something else we'd even like to know, again, in addition to what you think about borrowing money from a partner, whether it's weakness or trust, is if you have been in a situation where your partner borrowed from you and seemed to want to take your generosity for a sign of weakness instead. Okay, like what Marysyntia just talked about, how she would react, how she would see a partner who borrows from her and doesn't return at the time when he said he would return the money. He defaults. Now, somebody said something once, okay, to me, and he said, you should not borrow to somebody what you can't afford to forgo, what you can't afford to just let go like that. Okay, so now the explanation to it is, now if somebody comes to meet you and says, please borrow me 10k, okay, lend me 10k, and then you look at this person, instead of giving the person the full 10k, check yourself and assess what you can afford to let go in case the person doesn't come back to pay you. Okay.
True.
Yes. So you would check yourself and, well, if you can afford to lose. Yeah, we have a caller here. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, you're welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Susie. I'm calling you from Akwehe.
All right, Say from Akwehe. Go ahead. What do you think about this?
For me, I think I cannot borrow my husband my money again. No.
Whoa, you sound like you sound like you want to speak from experience right now.
Yes.
So tell us about it quickly.
The other time I borrowed him money from 6 figures.
Okay.
He paid and later said I should borrow him 200k. He had not finished paying the money. He said I should borrow him 200k, and that was the end of the story.
Really? Like
and the other time he now said I should borrow him money. I said I do not have, but let me call my elder sister.
Okay.
I borrowed the money from me to him.
Okay.
And up till now it's 2 years. He has not paid that 80k. I don't think I'll still borrow that man money.
Now tell me something. Is he listening to you right now as you're talking?
No, I think he's at work.
Okay, all right then. So you just keep reminding him. You never can tell.
No, well, I the other time I told him that I asked my elder sister to borrow me money, but he refused because I had not paid the other one I collected.
Okay.
And up to now, it's as if the man knew as if I removed my money to give him.
Okay, well, sorry about that. Well, let's just hope that he will have a change of heart. Okay, and hold up to his promise.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. So have a nice day to yourself. Yeah, good. Okay, so somebody in the actual situation of a partner not paying back as promised. Quite unfortunate. Okay, quite an unpleasant situation to be in. Wouldn't you agree?
But since she laughed about it, I'm sure she has to some extent she has let go, but she has learned her lesson, and that's what I'm talking about. It depends on his response to me when I said, okay, you were owing me and you did not pay back. The way he responds is what will make me to say, okay, I can still borrow him or will not. For her now, you heard the way he responded to her, and as if he even knew that, okay, it was her personal money that she used to borrow him and stuff like that.
Let's just take this call, the final call for the program. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. I'm on the way Samuel from Logo 1.
Okay, on the way Samuel from Logo 1. You're welcome to the speed lane. Please, what's your take on this?
Yes, I am so much interested in your this morning.
Okay.
So I just want to ask about Lewis's issue, borrowing money to her husband.
Mm.
I don't know what happened to the money that he cannot pay back.
Okay.
So that's just the question. That is just the question I have.
Okay.
Then
So
the other issue
good.
is that borrowing money from your partner is not something one can begin to argue so much. If you are with your partner and you have kids, maybe when the school fees issues in the house arises and there is no money available, you can borrow money from your partner to at least assist. And when there is any issue that comes like that, if the wife borrowed the husband money and he cannot pay, I don't think that is an offense because it's a contribution to the family running of the family.
No, but sometimes.
So
but let me point this out. But sometimes, even though you are part of a family, sometimes you do have personal projects. What if you borrowed for your own personal stuff, like buying yourself?
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
It depends on what you are borrowing that money for.
Okay.
Because some of these housewives, if you borrow money, she will want to know what you want to use that money for. If you don't use it judiciously, if you misappropriate that fund you borrow from her, sometimes they are not happy.
Okay.
Yeah. So it depends on what happened to the money you borrow that it brings offense.
Okay. Thank you so much for your contribution, Mr. Samuel. Okay, and Mr. Samuel, we'll just have to wrap it up for now. Okay, as per calls, so he will have to be our last caller on the program right now on the speed lane. Okay, well, so Marysyntia, do you have any final thoughts about? Maybe you might even have a piece of advice for Sewis.
Okay, first of all, on what Mr. Samuel said, about saying if you borrow money to your husband, according what he said about Sewis, if you borrow money to your husband and he doesn't pay back, it's not such an offense. I think if you come with borrow me money, it's an offense, big time. It's an offense. If you said, okay, assist me with, or just explain the situation, I don't know when I'll pay back, or I might not even be able to pay back, that's better. If you say borrow to me, someone like me, it's on my mind all the time that money was borrowed and I'm expecting it back. So it's just better to consider your partner's feelings. Also, on the general note, for me, I feel it's depending on the understanding between you and your partner. If you're going to borrow money from them, it's not a sign of weakness, and you should also know around what situation they are financially in before you actually borrow from them. Also, we should also be knowing the kind of partners we have, so we know, okay, this is what I will do and it will offend him, he will not want to give again, or he can actually take this or that. It just depends on your own partner. So study them and know them if you are someone who will definitely be borrowing from your partner.
Okay then. And so it's at this point that we'll just have to wrap it up on the speed lane so far this morning at 9 a.m. Yes. So we'll just have to give way for what will be coming up next, and that will be after the news at the top of the hour. Keep your ears up for King James 90s Top 10. And so before we leave, we have to just remind you to not forget to remember to always stand by your word. Okay, don't say one thing today and do something else tomorrow, especially when it comes to borrowing money from your partner. And also, please don't also forget to keep your dial locked on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. My name remains Clement Sampson, and
Marysyntia Hangeyo.
Do well to enjoy the rest of your day.